Canelo Alvarez asks who's doing what I'm doing, and he says he's still pound for pound number one, the best fighter in the world. Wow. That's what I'll talk about in this video. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Let me jump right into the mix. Canelo did an interview with DAZN boxing show, and this is what he says, quote, "Tell me another fighter who is going up and down in weight, wanting to achieve different things." So this is him dropping from number 1 to number 6 in the pound for pound rankings. This is what he decided to say. "I risk everything to keep making history when I don't need to. So personally, I still feel I'm the best in the world." Wow. Now, for starters, let's keep this simple. My dad was in the military, so there's an acronym called KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. The reality is Canelo can feel whatever he wants. My opinion, he's not the best in the world. He's not the number 1 pound for pound. I mean, how can we say that he's the best number 1 and he was virtually shut out by Dmitry Bivol, who was an underdog, and this was considered an upset? I mean, you don't get to have it both ways. You can't have your cake and eat it too. If you are labeled the best person in your whole sport, that means you gotta produce. Ronaldo in soccer, or Messi, or if we're talking Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, that means you gotta produce. Tom Brady in the league, you know what I mean? And that's the reality of it. That's if you're labeled with the greats or considered the modern day greatest, or, you know, whatever the situation is, you must be able to produce. Canelo, simply put, did not produce. Now, furthermore, another reason he cannot be considered, it sounds like Canelo's feeling sorry for himself. It sounds like, to me, a woe is me attitude, like, hey, I'm trying different things and I don't need to. What does that exactly mean? You're flexing your weight and you don't need to. When you're carrying belts, like I understand from a financial perspective, Canelo doesn't need to fight, or he can make good money fighting, you know, Yildirim's and stuff. He's done that. But you do need to, because this is still a sport. It's entertainment, but it's also still a sport, right? So you have to be putting on events that fans want to see. So you actually do have to. So I didn't even really understand that comment from Canelo when he's saying that he's doing different stuff with his weight and he doesn't have to. And if he's talking about moving up in weight, he doesn't have to move up in weight, that's his bad. I mean, again, this is why I said it sounds like some woe is me type of attitude. Nobody told you to flex your weight around. Nobody told you that this would be wise to jump around. That's you, your team. Listen, I feel no shred of remorse. I feel no sympathy. I feel no empathy, because Canelo he's like one of the 1%ers in boxing who actually has some jurisdiction over his career and the politics of boxing, be it the WBC or sanctioning bodies looking after him and making sure he's comfortable, or things like getting the date he wants, or getting the amount of pay that he gets, or, you know, being labeled the face of boxing and having nice pleasantries written about you. All these things have worked in Canelo's favor. Like when Canelo failed with clenbuterol, the WBC went out of their way and allowed more clenbuterol in your system before it's deemed a failed test, right? So in essence, they're helping making sure that this doesn't happen again for Canelo for like similar amounts. And, you know, that to me, that sounds crazy. And that's a whole nother video about, like, you're basically aiding in fighters being able to have small trace amounts in their system. But whatever. That's, like I said, a separate video. So I don't feel bad for Canelo, who has, again, the jurisdiction to decide, and there's bidding wars for him. He's choosing to move up in weight and fight at, you know, leave 160 and fight at 175 versus Kovalev. And then he tells his fans, hey, I'm setting history. He chooses to go to 168 and fight the champions. And people are like, hey, what about David Benavidez? And he's like, nah, I'm fighting Dmitry Bivol. Hey, what about Charlo? Nah, I'm moving up to 75 to fight Dmitry Bivol. So, tough titty. This didn't work out. The Bivol fight was not your night. That's your fault. No one told you were undisputed holding up all the belts at 168. You could have just stayed there and people would have been happy and there would have been bigger fights. So Canelo, Eddie Hearn already said this, that Canelo has basically been, he's looked at the situation and he's devastated. And it really shows because it sounds like he's feeling sorry for himself. I don't feel sorry for him because you chose this. You chose the life of a fighter. You chose the weight class. And again, you have the freedom of choice that 95, 99% of the fighters in boxing don't have. They don't have the choice to have a bidding war. They don't have the choice to move into any weight class and fight anybody they want, like Amir Khan or Rocky Fielding, and then their fan base will be okay with that, like Canelo Alvarez. So this sounds like a personal problem. You chose Bivol and you came up short. And instead of going back at it after claiming to have beaten him, you're saying that you're fighting a 40-year-old Triple G. So, yeah, Canelo's stock, he deserves to be dropped from the #1 spot for those who even had him there. And I feel no pity for Canelo's situation. Again, you're saying you're the best in the world, and you're saying, hey, I don't even have to be doing this, but I'm doing it. Okay, so you assume that responsibility, right? Like, it's like the cast of Jackass, Johnny Knoxville, MTV show, right? Steve-O and Johnny Knoxville and Bam Margera and all these cast members, they would do little things and they would have to sign waivers like, hey, we're going to let Mickey Ward punch you in the stomach with no protection on, with no like body shield, with no headgear. That's why the show's called Jackass. So at the end of the day, if you let Mickey Ward, you sign the waiver that says that, hey, I'm not financially liable, for your health if you're doing jackass things, then guess what? If Johnny Knoxville has to go to the hospital and he's like hemorrhaging or whatever the situation is, that is the responsibility and is your liability, and that's the risk that you assume to do these pranks or to do these skits for MTV, and it's just that simple. So again, at the end of the day, I'm not saying I want something bad to happen to the cast of Jackass, but you assume that responsibility and you're liable for it. You chose to do these pranks as your form of entertainment. So if Steve-O says that he's gonna walk over nails and spikes barefooted in underwear, and then if he falls, then he falls on the spikes, or do all these skits that they do with taunt a beehive and have bees sting you. I mean, this is what you signed up for. So that's how I feel about the Canelo Alvarez situation. You chose Bivol, you chose 175, you got paid more than other fighters would get paid for a fight of that magnitude without being a big event and big sale. So, I mean, it is what it is. But that being said, we can't cry over spilled milk. As a man, you make a decision. How are you #1? But then you don't want to prove you're #1 by fighting Bivol again. It's looking bad. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Eat it, and I'm out. Introducing Super Thanks. Right here on the official Boxing Ego YouTube. Super Thanks allows you, the viewers, to show a little bit of extra gratitude, which enables me as a full-time content creator to push out the content you need in the world of boxing. Underneath all the videos, you will see a heart with the $sign in it. You can enter any amount that you find suitable as a Super Thanks. A brand new, interactive, and colorful way to get your comments highlighted and noticed by not only myself, but other people on the YouTube platform. Super Thanks, a unique and cool way to show and applaud us full-time content creators. Hopefully you guys enjoy the content. Super Thanks. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster. We working.